Well, yesterday, the Electoral College made it official. Donald Trump is now going to be our next president of the United States. But the thing is, apparently, the media and everybody has got to say some things and that could affect what happened yesterday with the Electoral College. Because, there's been reports that maybe Vladimir Putin in Russia hacked into the system and maybe affected the results. Thing is, I gotta wonder, you think there would be better protection on the electronics surrounding it, so the Electoral College and voting system could be more hacker-proof? But the thing is, it never was really proven that Putin in Russia really did this, although there's a lot of saying that it was. But I gotta wonder, Putin and Trump, yeah, they're on friendly terms. In fact, some of the protesters there, when they counted the electoral votes, had Trump on a string held up by Putin dolls. Thing is, heck, Putin couldn't even protect his ambassador to Turkey. You saw what happened there on the report. He was killed by an assassin who then proceeded to shout, "Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! God is great! God is great!" Yeah, God told you to assassinate an ambassador. Yeah, right. And what else do we believe? Heck, a lot of this I kind of think is trumped up by the media, because you know what? Seems as though the media has been against Trump from the start. And also, what's next? When Trump takes power, does the media want to start reports that saying, hey, we ought to impeach Trump for some of his stuff that he did in the past? Some of these supposed accusations by women about Trump supposedly committing these things towards women. Well, you know what? The media, it seems as though, will do anything to try to get Trump out of power. Well, the only thing that you can impeach, a pie out of Georgia, if you know what I mean. But, this Putin is another one where, you can't say his name without spitting. It's Vladimir Putin. Putin. Yeah. The thing is, it's just like a classic tape I saw of a guy doing that to the police. Yeah, that's what I think about your videotape, and I'll bet you I'll whoop your ass. Wrong thing to say on a police interrogation video. But you know what? Enough's enough. People ought to just get over it. Trump won the election, fair and square. He's our next leader. Deal with it. And media, especially Tom Yamas, George Stephanopoulos, Steve Osunsami, and others from ABC who seems to be against Trump, deal with it. He's our next president, so let's get on with life. And you know what I want to say? How about we get on with it, Syracuse? Boy, that was a nice performance on the day when we celebrate Dwayne the Pearl Washington. So, he did so much of his great annex and so much of his great playing against Georgetown. And we decided to schedule it on the day that Syracuse plays Georgetown in a renewal of the rivalry. But guess what? This season, which seems to be coming apart at the seams, Syracuse laid an egg against Georgetown, in the Dome no less. Although I will say last night against former Orange assistant coach Rob Murphy and his team, Eastern Michigan, Syracuse looked like a put-together team, a well-oiled, cohesive unit. But something just kind of doesn't sit there. Heck, Syracuse, it seemed as though against power conferences can't light a beer fart in the wind. But against teams from other conferences, we romp all over them. And of course, against Eastern Michigan from the MAC conference, we romp all over them. And nice welcome back to the Dome for the former assistant coach Rob Murphy. We're 7-4 and we looked good last night. So why is this team such an enigma? Tyler Roberson, he started like gangbusters, but he's petered out. Andrew White and John Gillen are really the ones that are starting to really carry the team. But last night, it seemed as though it was a record-setting night. 8 Orange players scoring double figures. I think that could be the first time that's ever happened. And that was a nice performance. But now we got to keep it going, because the season before that last night seemed to be coming off the rails. And we got Chris Mullen and St. John's coming in tomorrow night to the Dome. Another old friend. We got to keep the season on the right track, Cuse, as right now it's been troubling up to now. And you know what else is troubling? The report out of Jacksonville. They fired their head coach because he underachieved. So guess what? To quote Heather O'Rourke from Poltergeist, he's back. That's right. Doug Marrone was named the interim assistant coach for Jacksonville. After he led the Orange for 4 years. Then he led the Bills, and he started to lead the Bills to respectability. And what happens? He ups and leaves. And we get that guy who's a blowhard, who's now our coach, who's now pretty much about to lose his job. Well, Doug Marrone, I always wonder, why'd you leave Buffalo in the first place? Although I'd have to say, some of your calls there for plays were a little maddening. It's like you didn't want to take a chance. You always wanted to play it safe. Well, there's a time for playing it safe, and there's a time for going for it. And then, when we get good, you decide, bye-bye, and you go to Jacksonville. Well, you know what? We don't play the Jaguars again this year. We already played the Jaguars and beat the pants off of them. Let's hope we play next year, and maybe you'll be named the permanent coach. We'll show you what a mistake it was to leave Buffalo, Marrone. And as far as Buffalo, yeah, they beat up on those hapless Cleveland Browns, 33-13. But it's still not going to be enough to save that blustering guy's job. As it all just seems. Rex Ryan is a bag of wind waiting to be punched out of Buffalo. I think that's what Buffalo needs, a good old house cleaning. Even if we do beat Miami, then we beat the Jets to end the season. It's not going to be enough to make the playoffs. 17 straight years, no playoffs. Oh boy. And I'm also going to say, tonight is going to be one of those big nights for Finger Lake sports. Yes, last couple of years. Miners in Waterloo, the girls and boys basketball teams, have played their meetings in doubleheaders. And tonight, the girls play at 6 o'clock and the boys play at 7:30 in the big cavernous Waterloo High School gymnasium. And that brings me to one last point on this show. Why doesn't Finger Lakes basketball team schedule more of these doubleheaders? As it all seems they want to do the JV and varsity doubleheaders. More schools got to take a cue from both the Blue Devils and the Indians. Have the girls and the boys play on the same night in doubleheaders. Heck, it works here. It could work for Lions and Clyde Savannah when they play. It could work for Newark and Lions, and so on and so forth, all through. But of course, the old standby having the JV and varsity teams for the boys play in one area, and of course the girls play in another school. What about families who have kids playing on both the girls and boys team? It would make more sense for the girls and boys to play in the same location on the same night, if you know what I mean. There's a good idea, but I don't know how far it's going to go with the Section 5 organizing committee. But you know what I think? It's going to be an awesome game, because you know how Miners and Waterloo feel about each other. And you see how Miners is kicking ass and taking names, especially Jake Maine, because he shows that, hey, even in the Finger Lakes, basketball players can dunk. Just watch Miners. Because you know what? Waterloo's trying, but I don't think they can compete with the Blue Devils. Let's go, minders. And that's all I have to say about this week, folks. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.